Three readings that night for Hank, and Linda King showed up, and they lived on and off together. He called her in the book Women a cheerleader in a game of violence. In that same book, apropos of Burroughs, it's interesting. He talks about the one time he met William Burroughs. It was at the Santa Cruz Poetry Festival at a Comfort Inn motel, and I was in the room too because we were having a pre-reception for this reading we were all in. And Hank was embarrassed to meet Burroughs because he was a little bit, he didn't know whether he should be jealous or competitive or what. And he felt Burroughs was this great madman, this guy, he'd done drugs, I'm just drinking, chugging. Bukowski could handle beer, he couldn't handle whiskey at all. And I was with him when he took his first, we were at a party in Silver Lake, he took his first marijuana, and he says, I don't get it, man. And he got in the car, he was driving us down Santa Monica, where Sunset merges down, and you take this little side thing to Santa, and he was worrying, he said, I don't get it, man, I'm not getting stoned. And he said, stop the car, man, I'm taking over. So I did. So really it was my nephew, Danny Toll, an artist, who talked about putting a show together a few years ago, and I had negatives in almost like bookmarks, in books and in drawers and on the floor and everywhere. It just happened that way, and I got what I could together. And my father had some. These are the negatives of Bukowski, and so Danny got them all together, cleaned them up, and made this great exhibition. I don't know if there's any more, but and the Black Hat photos was coming off those old great negatives from 1940, 41. They're old enough to have the patina of the antique, actually, about them. The one photo around the piano was right before Pearl Harbor. And you notice that the bohos of that day, the bohemians that day, they're all, what is it about them? They're all elegantly dressed. And it was interesting to me because when I arrived in North Beach in '75, a few of the old timers were still left, like that guy, Jose Ramis, I talked about. There was another artist, Luke Gibney, who did great surrealist paintings, surrealist landscapes, beautiful landscapes. Matthew Barnes, who was a portrait artist. A lot of these guys all of them are in the collection of the Oakland Museum of California Art, but in a way lost to history. So the Black Hat photos are kind of a time box of a certain period, at least in San Francisco's bohemian history. Ferlinghetti, when he arrived in town in '51, he found the Black Hat, already sort of a gay bar, but there's still a lot of writers and old-time journalists who hung out there. In the days when journalism, wasn't about the computer, it was about ink and all that stuff, and they were real tough customers, journalists. They didn't write a word without having whiskey in them or something. At least I like to think that. Seems like it. So I think everybody's enjoyed this. I know for my father, it's a great emergence to really emerge as an artist at age 95. A lot of people don't get the privilege of that.
The dog did back to tail.
One last thing about my father. There's a photo there of Kelsey for president, the little dog. Bukowski used to say, I like dogs better than people, cats better than dogs, and most of all, I like Bukowski. My father, I think, liked dogs and cats in equal measure. We'll leave it at that. But Danny, do you want to say a few words?
No, I think the work speaks volumes. It's a long one.
So I feel real fortunate to have a father who spread his eye over so much territory, and photography is really interesting because it's something seen, but it's also, I'm sure you feel it too. And even if you don't touch it, you touch it in a way, and then you take it home with you and you can reinvent the whole world around it. So thank you all for coming.